Shat Krishna Namacharitaadi Sitapi Vidyo Itoptarasna Rochikanu King Tadrad Antanam Khalusaiva Justa Swaddi Kamat Audita Vadamula. Read the translation.
The holy name, character, pastimes.
Where is that?
The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root.
First, disease will be destroyed, or first test will come, then this will go away. Or first the disease will go away, then test will come.
First taste comes and then the disease goes away. Unless one
Is she telling right?
Yeah.
Huh? First disease will go. I think that disease must go, then sweetness will come. Or some test will come, then disease will go. What is it? Niyam. Kya niyam? Yes?
Both are taking place at the same time. Simultaneous, both are going on at the same time.
But medicine is needed first, or that thing that will go without medicine gradually.
Medicine must be there.
There. So first medicine. Harinam is medicine and everything. So Harinam should be taken first. Then disease will go. But disease will go, then I will take medicine and then I will test it. This is not. So, in what position you are, you should be there, no harm. You are lusty, you are loyal, you have so much worldly desires. You are what? Anything you must be. But take that medicine first. But try to not take the things which are world. But medicine should be taken. So medicine is Harinam. So this should take. Gradually the disease will go. So when a test will come in medicine, that in a Harinam, some little. How? By taking. So if you are taking Harinam and being in the association of any good association, like we are here doing Kirtan, Hari Katha Samas, so all the little boys, even girls, olds, young, all are energetic. All are dancing. All are doing so many things. So kinds of services here, hearing all this. So this thing should be must adopted. Now purport.
The holy name of Lord Krishna, his quality, pastimes, and so forth, are all of the nature of the absolute truth, beauty, and
The
bliss.
holy name, character, pastimes, activities of Krishna. Everything is transcendental. Oh. And transcendentally they are sweet. But we are taking Harinam, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Why? Why? No test? We are hearing Hari Katha, but our mind is there. How you knew? I knew because if I will question, they will tell that I don't understand. What is the meaning? If I will tell, I want to make your marriage with very, very, very beautiful any lady devotee. Oh. What is she? Very tasteful. But when I'm telling Hari Katha, actually, what is the meaning? That his mind is anywhere else and then sleeping. But he wants to know that it is surely a very sweet thing. I must take it. Then he will be careful. All are sweet, but now we are thinking in Mathura or anywhere, a devotee was like this, that when we used to begin kirtan very loudly, and first, what? Dhik, like this, dhik, and then tan. First dhik makes him like, we used to sleep. He never used to come to our classes. And after some time, he went to his home, he bought a rickshaw, and after that, he was badly engaged in worldly things. And then he again began to collect fishes here, there, in muds and here. So, if we have no taste in Hari Katha, then no taste in Harinam, no anything. First test should come in here. If there is no test, again I will see. I will hear. Bhagavata is going on in Vrindavan. Who was explainer? Sir Raghunath Bhatta. Always there. Hearing the pastimes of gopis when Krishna went to Mathura, all were feeling by his explanations. All were feeling separation. But one person, he was not. His heart was not melting. He took something from his pocket, and that was chili powder. And he gave it in his eyes, little. And tears began. He was looking, Raghunath Bhatta. After class finishing, he went to that person and he took and embraced him. Oh, I have heard that any chaste devotee thinks that I have not served Vaishnava, Bhagavatam. So I punished my body. Tears are now coming from eyes. So these eyes should be punished. I saw that you took something and punished your eyes, then this was coming. Surely you are a very fortunate person. Surely. And hearing this and having embraced by him, he began to weep. Automatically tears came. Anyhow, he is repenting for that devotee. And he knows that there is so many offenses in me, unearths in me, that my heart is not melting. So I should do anything. I am not qualified to be in this council of Vaishnavas who are all weeping, all are doing so. So we should realize also. If there is no tear, no hair standing, no heart melting, then we should show that we are so much offended. We have done offenses anywhere. We are full of unearth. So, these are All are transcendently sweet, more than sugar, honey. But yet we have nothing.
Yes.
So there is something behind it. Yes. Then?
Naturally, these names are very sweet, like sugar candy, which appeals to everyone. Nescience, however, is compared to the disease called jaundice, which is caused